Hello, welcome to Story on the Spot. While Kevin works out some audio issues and touches his phone's camera several times. My name is Jim Heskett. That is Kevin Tumlinson over there, and down here is R.A. McGee, and I believe momentarily Mr. Nick Thacker should be joining us. Hey, look, there he is.
How about that?
Jim's crappy camera. I don't even know what that's all about.
Yeah, I didn't have time for something good.
Well, guys, hold on one second. We'll be right back. And that is our new introduction for Story on the Spot. Woo! I figured we should at least be as professional as the Kevin Show.
At least.
Heyo. All right, and that's that's our new video intro featuring music by Mr. Nick Thacker. Nick, do you still do Sonata Inscribe?
Yeah, but I deleted the website on accident, so that happened.
Yeah, our author down here, Nick, is also a composer. And oh wait, Kevin's trying to come back in. Let's see.
Have we talked about the Band-Aid on the head yet? Are we gonna?
Yeah, I thought it was like a early test prototype Nelly Halloween costume prototype.
That's what I was thinking. It's definitely like something he's trying to get trendy.
You know, the thing is, like, you guys know the trouble I've been having with the tree for all these weeks, and it this morning when I was writing, it finally attacked, and like it got too close, and it came after me, and I'm kind of embarrassed. I mean, you can see it's back where it wants to be. It's mad, that's why it's lit up. But I thought it's, you know, we have an uneasy understanding right now. I thought I could get a brown bandage. It kind of matches my brownness and maybe camouflage it a little. So I'm a little upset that you noticed so fast, Nick.
It's the first thing I saw. It's actually the only thing I can see.
But that's what this is for. The KO Kid took care of the camera. Took care of the Christmas tree.
All right, everybody. Welcome to Story on the Spot. Let me explain a little bit about what we do here. This is...
What are we all looking that way for? What's over there?
I don't know. Did you see that? It's an author improv show where we are going to pitch some stories. Kevin is still looking up toward the heavens. I don't know if your answer's up there, Kevin, or not. Here we go. I'm going to share my screen. Nope, that's just me. First of all, last week's winner, Mr. Kelvin Tumlinson. Yay! Congratulations, Kevin.
Yay, I won.
And so today we have a bonus word, and that is Cattywampus. Depending on what part of the United States you're from, you might know this word, you might not. Something in disarray that is askew, or something that isn't directly across from something. For example, a post office might be cattywampus from the library. It's also known as kitty-cornered. But usually the word, I heard it refer to a chaotic situation.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah, I agree.
Askew. So that is the...
Things went cattywampus.
Things went cattywampus. Lisa Badger says, good evening.
Evening.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Evening. All right, so let's get into our first story. I'm going to read this little tidbit of a story here, and then these three guys are going to pitch, and then you watching and listening can vote on which pitches you thought were the best. Hot pursuit. Two men in Belgium felt the heat recently when they accidentally got locked in a shipping container full of cocaine in a huge port there. That day, temperatures reached a record of 104 degrees Fahrenheit, stifling the young men who had entered the container to remove the drugs, according to prosecutors. As the mercury rose, they desperately called a police emergency number, and when police finally found them 2 hours later, they gratefully gave themselves up. Port workers were videoed pouring water over the pair to try to lower their body temperatures. So it didn't say it in the story, but this was in Antwerp, Belgium. A couple guys going to look for some cocaine, got trapped inside a shipping container.
I got you. I can go. If nobody, I'll be the sacrificial lamb.
All right, what do you got? First pitch of the day.
Okay, so I think I can provide an answer for us here. Okay, provide an answer as to what happened. I think that if you go into Belgium, there's really one large cocaine kingpin, okay? And he runs everything with an iron fist. Well, the problem is, as you guys know from running your own small businesses, eventually you need to start delegating things to people or you just can't get stuff done. And so our cocaine kingpin decided that the best way to figure out among his two kingpins who was best suited to be his right hand was to have a little competition. See, the problem is these two have had a lot of infighting and a lot of problems. Things were getting all cattywampus with the way that they were behaving. And so eventually the kingpin said, I'm not, I love that, dude. Eventually the kingpin said, I can't deal with this. This is not the way I want to do things. So he locked them in the container, all right, and he locked them in there with a single knife and said, one of you is going to come out, and whoever comes out is going to be my right hand. Well, the problem is the guys, they really weren't as tough as they were ascribing to be. So they got in there. They both lost their nerve. They realized there was no other way out, so they had to call the cops and deal with the embarrassment that they're both still alive. And the kingpin is going to ultimately come after them, and they're going to have to team up and try to bring the whole house down on the kingpin's head. So superhero team up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. R.A. McGee. All right, Kevin or Nick, do either of you have a story you'd like to pitch?
Sure. Oh, did Kevin say something?
Oh, I was going to, but go ahead.
Okay. All right, I'll go. Here's the deal. We get classic situation of a let's all just classic case of a
there's our screenshot.
Planned, there's a screenshot. There you go. Long-term drug running scheme. Our kingpin has an in with the local police in Belgium to get the drugs into circulation. The way it works is the guy he's working with, police officer he's working with in Antwerp, is siphoning off drugs from what comes into the vault or the police in evidence locker. And so all he has to do is just have somebody get caught with the drugs, and then it ends up in a police evidence locker where the guy can wrap it up in paperwork for many years and even just siphon it off as they go. And the chief of police, the head of the station there in Antwerp is able to turn the other way. Is happy to turn the other way if he's allowed to just get somebody to throw in jail, so that everybody just seems to think, okay, cool, it's being handled. So the kingpin is simply punishing two young guys who want to be part of the gang, but they were caught using the drug, and everybody knows as a drug dealer, you can't be using your own supply.
Can't get high on your own supply, man.
Can't get high on your own supply. So he threw him in the shipping container as punishment, knowing that it was going to solve a bunch of problems for him. He gets the kids out of the way. He potentially dying in the process, which is even better. He gets him thrown into a prison, so the chief of police is happy, and he gets the drugs into the police locker where his buddy can start selling them on the street.
All right, thanks, Nick. And that just leaves you, Mr. Tumlinson. Do you have a pitch? Do you have a pitch for us today?
And I'm going to call it Cattywampus Kingpins.
Oh,
That's
yeah, the whole time in my story, everything was Cattywampus.
No. Silence.
Too little, too late, Thacker.
No.
I'm glomming on to the Kingpin. I was going to say Kingpin in the first place, but then everybody stole it. So Cattywampus Kingpins. So what we've got is, actually, this is a period story. This is a 1980s era story. And what we've got are two rookie undercover cops who are being put into service trying to bring down this drug ring. And but unbeknownst to the police, they're actually trying to get into the cocaine business. So they actually arrange for this cargo container, and they go and ostensibly they're going to, quote, bust it, but they're only going to deliver half the drugs. And they were going to take the other half and start their own crime empire on the street. But while they're in there, they get trapped in the container. And when it's all said and done, they call in for backup, and they basically end up fooling the police, the rest of their teammates, into thinking that they actually had to go in there and lock themselves in to keep the drug lords from gaining access to the drugs. So they end up becoming heroes, and they have a change of heart in classic 80s style. They have a change of heart and become good cops taking down bad guys on the street.
Did you guys see Nick disappearing and vanishing, and now he's turned into Brick? I don't even understand what's happening down there.
I thought it was me. I thought it was that Irish coffee I had this morning.
Now he's Brick. Now he's back. Brick Thacker.
I'm a brick, y'all.
Brick Thacker. There
Brick
you
Thacker.
go.
Brick
I
Thacker.
think I should leave and come back in and change my name to that.
You don't have. You can just if you like double click on your name.
What?
Yeah, you can change it in stream. Today I learned. Okay, guys. Next up, oops, bonus round. All right. I need everyone to pitch me a thriller about Jack Reacher being late for an appointment, and he can't find his car.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I liked Bricks more.
Who could pitch me a thriller about Jack Reacher being late for an appointment and he can't find his car keys? Dun, 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 dun. Don't. Hey, if you're watching, don't forget. Desiree wants to know if you're part of the thing, Mr. Ben Grimm.
He pulls off a mask and he's.
How did Kevin win that one?
Are you kidding?
Okay. Yeah, I got something.
That was the best.
I got something. So Jack Reacher has an appointment, and he leaves the house and realizes that he doesn't have his car keys. And it's a very important appointment, and he can't be late. And so he looks around, sees that no one's looking, and decides to smash through the window of a nearby Mercedes with his foot, and then break in. And of course, he knows how to hotwire a car because he's Jack Reacher. So he hotwires the car and pulls out the parking lot, driving normal speeds because he's just trying to get to his appointment, not trying to get any attention. But then he realizes there was an unmarked police car somewhere in the parking lot, and they pull him over. And now Jack Reacher has to try to explain why he broke into someone's car without explaining that he's Jack Reacher and has an appointment somewhere across town. And then the twist ending is that you find out it's just a dentist appointment and his tooth really hurts.
So I think if I were to pitch it, I would say that Jack Reacher, he wakes up late for an appointment and he runs outside and he stands in the parking lot and he's patting himself down for his keys. And then he remembers that he doesn't own anything. So, of course, he doesn't have any car keys. And that as a result of too many blows to the head, he's got some CTE. And I think that the end of our story is Jack trying to get an MRI and getting a little bit of help for his traumatic brain injuries that he's suffered over all the years. And that's actually the appointment that he's late for, is the appointment that he can't even remember because brain problems.
Can it end with him tattooing something on his arm, and then we find out that the whole Jack Reacher series has been a prequel to Memento?
Memento is an amazing movie. I'm so glad you mentioned that today.
What if we find out that Jack Reacher discovers he's like severely autistic after the MRI, and that's why he wants to beat everybody up all the time?
And he's just big and strong enough to do it, and it's just unfair.
Yeah,
like a lion with opposable thumbs.
Ouch, that's a dark timeline.
Or it's all prequel to a Phenomenon with John Travolta.
Kevin, are you frozen? Are you there? You've been holding your hand in that place for about 2 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well,
I thought you were just thinking really hard.
I was thinking hard. Did I win? Did I win?
Do you have a pitch? Do you have a pitch for Jack Reacher?
For Jack Reacher? So I already stole mine. I was going to say Jack Reacher doesn't own anything. That's the whole point of Jack Reacher. So what happens is, realizing Jack Reacher doesn't own anything and so therefore wouldn't have car keys, he pulls off his mask and reveals that he's actually Tom Cruise, and then he remembers that his car keys were hanging on the hook by the door. But Tom Cruise had fooled himself.
If you don't get the Tom Cruise jokes, then go back and watch episode 15, because there were lots and lots of Tom Cruise shenanigans. Oh, there was something I forgot to mention at the top of the show. We now stream on the YouTubes. So
Hey,
if
YouTube.
you are a never Facebooker, and I know it'd be probably odd if you were watching this and you were a never Facebooker on Facebook, but if that's the case and you want to watch on YouTube, you can do that. Nobody's going to stop you. And you watching, leave us some comments. Let us know who won that last round.
Kevin did.
According to Kevin, it was Kevin. Here is our next story. It's called Just Too Easy.
1 out of 1 Kevin's agree.
Michael Hargraves strolled into a U.S. bank in Cleveland, Ohio on Monday with a note demanding cash from a teller. This is a robbery. Don't nobody get hurt. Unfortunately for the robber, he wrote the note on the back of a document he had received from the Ohio Bureau of Motor Vehicles, which included his full name and address. The teller gave Hargraves $206 and summoned police, who later arrested him. So, homeboy... Okay. Nope, Kevin, you got something?
Here's what I think happened. Yeah, here's what I think happened. He was being forced to go in and rob the bank.
That was my idea. Crap.
He had there were people who got in touch with him, told him, look, if you don't go rob the bank, then we're gonna kill your wife. And so he goes in and he's thinking fast, and he figures out if I give them this note with this written on the back of this thing, they'll know it's me. They'll come find me and they can rescue me and my wife. And so he does that. But then it turns out that his wife was actually the one who plotted and planned all of it. And so he ends up being exonerated, and his wife goes to prison.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dude,
dun,
that
dun,
was like
dun.
Almost verbatim the idea that I had thought of, including the part about the wife. That would be the twist ending.
That was the twist ending.
Yeah.
Well,
ridiculous.
It's bad.
What we have here is a classic case of Nick Thacker and Kevin Tumlinson being the same brain.
Which is why I'm going to allow Kevin to give me my story now.
Okay. So here's Nick's story. Are we ready?
Somebody's got to start talking.
I will. I'll go. I'm happy. I'll let Brick.
Nick
I'll
can
let
have more
Brick
time
take a
to
second.
think.
Yeah, Brick needs a second. So I think that what's happening here is we're dealing with some very divergent timelines. Okay, and what's happening is Michael Hargraves. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Umbrella Academy. Okay, but Michael Hargraves is one of the lesser known members of the Umbrella Academy. All right. And so he's been wrapped up in all of the time hopping shenanigans that the crew has put on in the last couple of seasons. And so he's to the point now where he's part of the group and he's trying to help them. And he overheard them saying that, they needed to get into a safety deposit box to retrieve a MacGuffin to stop, Kate Walsh from destroying the world or whatever's going on there. And, the reason why they sideline him is he's not really that bright. So he goes in there just saying, hey, give me the MacGuffin. Give me the MacGuffin. Give it to me. And the give me the MacGuffin. And so the teller has no idea what he's talking about, but Michael's not too bright. Yeah, Michael's not too bright, and so he gets a little bit of money, and then he goes out to see, Vanya and Diego and Luther and everybody else, and they have to time hop out of there because Michael's just messing things up like he always does. So I just think he's an unfortunate add-on to the Umbrella Academy.
All right, thank you, Mr. R.A. McGee. Nick, you've been deep in thought, very pensive over the last couple minutes.
Well, won't you be amazed to hear that my idea is just that much better now. So this was all a classic story of the teller coming up with a plot to get some money from the bank. When she started working there, we got a female protagonist, and she is interested in basically the 10% reward fee. That is, of course, it's not publicized by the bank, but it's something that the bank president has put in the contract that basically we will reward any person who is the victim of a robbery, and keeps their cool. It's just sort of like a grievance payout kind of thing. So she knows about this. She's read this in some of the fine print, and she's seen some of the documentation about it, and she knows that it's gonna work. And so what she does is basically pays this guy to get caught, and like a really good story happens after that goes cattywampus, and then it ends with like a really cool twist ending.
What twist ending?
I forgot to say.
And that twist ending.
Stole my idea. He stole the whole thing, and then I couldn't stop thinking about it. So that's my idea.
I just want to remind everyone watching and listening that the others, they do not see these stories. I'm the only one who sees the stories. They are literally seeing them for the first time, and then they're coming up with story ideas like 30 seconds later. So if you don't understand the craft and the talent that goes into.
And if you've ever wondered why Nick Thacker novels are kind of boring, now you know.
Nobody's wondering that.
Ouch!
Wow, dude. There's some aloe. Holy crap.
I know that could come across as a compliment, but rest assured, people listening, it was not.
It was not. No. Okay, so this might sound a little funny the way I pronounce this.
Appreciate that.
In our final story, this word might sound a little funny the way I pronounce it, but I tell you, it is correct for Colorado. The Buena Vista Burrito Bandit.
Buena.
In Colorado, you say Buena. I know that's not right, but that's what it is in Colorado. And I'm going to do a Colorado accent on this one. This is going to be exciting. Ooh. In late May, an inmate at Buena Vista Correctional Facility in Buena Vista, Colorado, tipped off officials that an employee was bringing drugs into the prison. Soon after, the Department of Corrections nabbed their man, Trevor Marsden, a corrections officer. Officials found a burrito in Marsden's lunchbox. But besides the typical ingredients one might expect to find, it also contained 91 grams of meth, 26 grams of heroin, and 46 strips of Suboxone. That's my Colorado accent. Marsden reportedly said he paid $1,000. He was paid $1,000 to bring the drugs into the prison. He was charged with first-degree introduction of contraband and 3 charges of unlawful possession of a controlled substance. He also lost his job. This is our final story today, so everyone has one more chance to score that point. So, Nick, do you want to grab first so no one else can steal the story in your head?
Sure. Yep, that's probably fair. I think I'm the only one that hasn't gone first yet, so I probably should. So Marsden is basically this is a classic case of bait and switch, a kind of a sleight of hand. He has been paid $1,000 by who he thinks is a drug runner, kingpin from Belgium, Antwerp, actually, to bring drugs into the prison with, through the burrito. This is like the 5th time that he's done it. But what he doesn't know, and where the story ends up taking a turn, is that Suboxone is used in a brand new makeup of a bomb, like a pipe bomb type thing. And so he's been funneling the Suboxone in there, which is an opioid, and everyone thinks it's just he's trying to get drugs in the prison. What he's actually doing is he's getting Suboxone in there so that they can mix it with ammonia, whatever, in the kitchen. And I'm totally making up the chemistry, but we can iron that out later. That's
you're not. You're doing all right.
That's the editor's job, right? So
you're doing all right.
And it's going to create this really explosive compound that they can then use as like a plastic explosive almost type thing to break out of prison. And so he has inadvertently led the Chapter 1 inciting incident of blowing a hole in the side of the prison, everybody figuring out how in the world it happened. That's the story. That's really what's happening here.
That is the story, according to Mr. Nick Thacker. All right, let me put this back up here for a second. Kevin has faded to black, so we don't know what's going on with him.
I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
I don't know what's going on.
I think you're too close to the camera.
Back up, Kevin.
Am I not supposed to put my nostril over the lens?
I don't think that's written down anywhere. I don't think it's a rule.
At least I got a picture. You guys can see
Kevin
me.
or RA, who of you would like to go first?
I feel like I'm at a disadvantage because I'm in a very dark room right now, guys.
I'll do this thing for you if you want. You
All
just
right,
say the word.
listen,
You
I'll
can't
go.
see me, but I'm mooning all of you right now.
Nick can do all your hand gestures while you do the story. Nick can act it out for you.
All right, I'll go while Kevin figures out a way back to the light or something. You know. So, I think that our inmate is being. This is all about self-preservation. See, the corrections officer, Marsden, he is actually abusing the inmate. Okay, he's taking his food. He's working him over. You know what I mean? He's doing tossing his cell for no reason. They took him down and tasered him. There's all these problems just because he doesn't like the inmate, and so the inmate isn't the brightest guy, but he's trying to figure out what can I do with this? Everything. I'm just trying to do my time, and everything is getting in cattywampus. How can I save myself? I'm gonna need some help because I can't do it on my own. Well, the inmate gets help from the outside. All right, and he has one of his siblings sneak into Marsden's house. All right, and plant the burrito in there. Right, he plants the burrito. And the whole goal is to take Marsden down and to get him kicked off the force so that the inmate can actually survive and do his time. Okay. And at the very end of the story, Marsden gets fired. He gets taken out. The inmate's good. Everything's working out. He's going to be able to do his time in peace. We find out that the inmate's name is Michael Hargreaves, who was put into jail for robbing a bank of $206. And the people on the outside that were helping him was the rest of the Umbrella Academy. And that's how that story ends. So,
All right. Thanks, RA.
That was great.
Kevin.
I got no idea what any of you people said, but I thought it was awesome.
Kevin, I guess you have a blank slate then if you didn't hear any of the first two pitches.
Okay. So now that my entire presentation has started off cattywampus, this is the one about the guy with the drug burrito, right? I'm completely off track now.
This is drug burrito.
What was it? Buena Vista? Buena Vista. So, okay. Okay, so this is misdirection. So someone in the prison is trying to distract all the officials on the outside, the police and everyone else, by causing a ruckus that's big enough that everyone will look the other way while they pull something off. So what's happened is a high-profile prisoner in the prison has arranged to make an escape. And what they've done is they've basically got dirt on the warden and a couple of the guards, and they've got leverage over them. Like this guy's contacts on the outside have their families, or they've dug up dirt or something like that. And so what they've done is they set up one of the employees of the prison, and they just sent him this ridiculous drug-filled burrito, because who would ever? That's a ridiculous thing. This burrito full of drugs, and so they make it so crazy that it ends up causing a big stir. The press get involved. Everybody's watching that, and while they're turning cells and getting all that stuff sorted, finding out who this guy was, our high-profile prisoner manages to make his escape with the help of the warden and a couple of guards. So this guy is just a patsy. He's a burrito patsy. And so his life gets turned cattywampus while this Kingpin goes free and goes on the lookout for two undercover cops that he knew in the 80s who were supposedly big heroes, but who screwed him over a shipment of drugs. And that guy was Jack Reacher.
And then he pulled off his mask.
He pulled off his mask, and he was Ethan Hunt.
All right.
He pulled off his mask and was Maverick from Top Gun.
All right.
Doing some risky business.
Doing some risky business. Yep. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is about it. My wife is texting me.
Legends of the Fall.
What? Is he in that? Wasn't that Brad Pitt?
I don't know. That was
Tom Cruise pulls off his mask and he's L. Ron Hubbard.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us for episode 16 of Story on the Spot. And
vote for Kevin.
Vote for Kevin or RA or Nick. Don't vote for me because I
Kevin.
can't actually accumulate points. It doesn't work that way for me. If you go down at the bottom to storyonthespot.live, that has all our previous episodes and has our websites and more information about the show. And Lisa thinks Nick got the final round. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. And you know what? We're going to see you next week.
Adios.